with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So my son turned 8 today. 8 fucking years old. I've been a dad for 8 years. That seems fucking wild to me. 8 fucking years. It has gone so fucking fast. Like, insanely fast. I know, like, most parents say that. Like, where did the time go? 8 years old, but I fucking swear to God, it feels like a few months ago that I was in the hospital with my wife and I was asleep on the floor while she was in labor and he was born. And I was thinking about why it feels like it's gone so fast. And I think it's because you never really get time to reflect. Like, once you have a kid, like it probably starts during the pregnancy, but like when you really have to look after the kid, once it's born, everything sort of changes forever. Not sort of, everything changes forever. And you're just learning the whole time. Everything changes constantly. From the moment the kid's born, everything's in a state of flux. So it sort of just feels like you're putting out fires all the time. You're just under the fucking pump. So you never really kick back and just go, wow, that last year was fucking interesting, good. Wow, what did we learn? What did we do? No, you're just like, fuck, childcare, what? He's got to go to school. All right, fucking sign him up for soccer. I don't give a fuck. Just whatever. What are we getting for present? Well, present? He fucking doesn't even like his other presents. Just fucking whatever. Cake, yeah, chocolate, I don't care. Ice cream, yes. That's what it's felt like for the last 8 years. What? Ear infection? Go back into bed. What? And then once a year, it's his birthday or your kid's birthday, and you're like, oh, fuck, that year went quick. What happened? And you do a podcast and you get like 5 minutes to reflect on it, and you're like, oh, it was just hectic all year. It was just fucking hectic. That's why the time passes fast. My wife made a little photo book for my son, and we were going through the photos, but we were going through some photos yesterday of my son just like 2 or 3 years ago. And he's just a baby, just a little kid. He's still just a little kid, but he's now like a big little kid. And you're like, fuck, time doesn't stop for fucking anyone, does it? It's going to continue marching forward. I noticed that with my wife's cousins as well. My wife's got like 5 or 6 girl cousins, and they're all like, when I met my wife, they were all like young, like 11, 12, 13 type thing. And now they're all in the process of looking for husbands. I'm like, what? They're just little girls. But they're not. They're like mid-20s now, which is getting old for Indians. But it has been one of the great joys of my life, watching my son grow up. Watching him learn and figure shit out and overcoming adversity and becoming braver and stronger. Like, it's pretty fucking cool. And as a parent, you play a relatively big role, but a lot of it they got to do themselves. You're there to like give them a little bit of direction, to guide the way a bit. My role, I feel, is basically not to let him quit, not to let him take the easy fucking option. But I've watched him slowly but surely take that upon himself. Like, when he was real young, it was more like me forcing him. Like, just fucking get there. You're going to jiu-jitsu. You're doing jiu-jitsu till you're 18, all right? You're doing this. You're playing soccer, all right? You're playing a sport. You're getting out there, rain, hail, or shine. Fucking get out there. But now, as he's got a little bit older, he's got much less quit in him. And he's like, all right. He's becoming like the real deal. He does things that I look at and I'm like, I would never, ever have done that when when I was a kid. Like, in a million years. Like, all right, I took him to soccer the other day on Monday. This is just 3 days ago. And we went in. It's in a big gymnasium. It's basketball courts. It's like indoor soccer, this particular one. And we ran in and he's like, I need to use the toilet. So he went to the toilet. I waited outside on the phone. I was just flicking around and I didn't hear him come out. He was taking forever. So I look at the toilet and he wasn't in there. So I walk out onto the basketball court and he's there. And he's with this like teenager, like this 14 or 15-year-old kid wearing like Chicago Bulls and shit like that. Looked like a kind of thuggy sort of kid. And my son was with this kid and they were shooting together. Like the kid would shoot, like the 15-year-old, and my son would take the rebound and shoot with him. And they're the only two people there. And I'm like, come, we'll play some soccer down the end. And then I asked him, I'm like, how did you start playing with that kid? And he's like, I just went up to him and asked him if I can take a shot. And I'm like, I would never, ever have done that in a million years when I was his age. I would have been like shy in the corner, avoiding it all. And then this is like 2 or 3 weeks ago. We're at this park after lunch and there was like a little soccer field attached to this park. So we're playing on the slides and shit with my daughter and my son was playing. And then my son walks over to the soccer field and there's just like a dad and his 2 sons playing soccer together. And my son walks over the soccer field and just like starts speaking to the dad. He gets the ball, puts his foot on the ball, tells the dad to go into the goals, organizes the 2 sons, and then calls another 2 kids that were playing individually, like they weren't friends. Like one kid was playing by himself and another kid was playing by himself, and got them to come in and join the teams. Like started a whole game. Like, I swear to God, my instinct when he was walking over to the soccer field was like, stop him. Don't let him interfere. But then I had to stop myself. I'm like, don't fucking put your insecurities onto your kid. He seems to be fine. He seems to be fucking doing pretty well, just approaching randoms and starting games and that. Just because you don't do it or wouldn't do it, doesn't mean it shouldn't be done. So I just let him free range it. Go out there, start a game. And they played for like an hour, 3 versus 3. So when I see that, I'm like, I don't know where you got that from. Because I asked my wife, I'm like, did you ever do that when you were a kid? She's like, I would never have done that, ever. But he's got some balls. And it's been a fucking absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure watching him grow up. Anyway. Fucking happy birthday to my son who will listen to this in the future. I'm very happy to be your dad and I got lucky to have you as a son. Anyway, that'll do it for today and I'll see ya the fuck later.